A father-daughter relationship is one of the most important relationships that a girl will ever have in her life. A good father is there for you in any situation, no questions asked. Like when you were younger and you were scared, he was always there to hold your hand, and he was the one that taught you how to ride a bike without training wheels. He was always there to be your escort to those father-daughter dances, and especially when you were scared of that infamous monster under your bed, he was always there to protect you from it. Or when you were the one under the bed and the monster was a group of human trafficking Albanians that had every intention of finding you and kidnapping you and ultimately selling you as a sex slave. Now, that situation may not apply to every girl out there, but for Kim Mills, it was very real, and she was lucky to have a dad that loved her enough, almost literally to level a city, just to make sure that she was back home safe and sound. That man, who will be your speaker today, goes by the name of Bryan Mills. Now, I've watched these Taken movies so many times, and it never fails. Every time I see it, I'm just so touched by the love that Bryan Mills shows for his daughter. So with that love, in combination with the skills that he has, he's just able to take on these criminals and bring her back home. But how could he possibly do this, you might ask? Human trafficking is a very scary business, and it's a real problem in the world today. And the people who work behind these businesses are even scarier. They're just not somebody that you want to have on your bad side. But when Bryan Mills, this average American dad, hears that his daughter has been taken by these scary people, he just has no hesitation, and he takes upon himself to bring her to safety. The reason behind that he was so just gung-ho about getting her himself is because he's actually a retired CIA operative. And throughout the movie, you see his skills with knives and with guns and even with his bare hands. So he finds out Kim is taken, and he just goes on this neck-snapping, electrocuting, high-speed chasing revenge rampage through the town of Paris. And he eventually, of course, like I said, brings her back home. One of my favorite things about Bryan is that he's not just skilled in combat. He's very smart, and he's an expert in investigation and also in disguise. My favorite scene in both of the movies is when he's able to go to the headquarters of this sex trafficking business, and he talks to everyone in the building, and he gets to the guy that's in charge. And when they find out who he is, and not a moment before he wants them to, he's able to just kick butt, get the information that he needs, and continue on and try to save his daughter. Well, now that I've talked about his combat skills, which are very obvious if you view the movie, I just have to share with you this. Like, you can't understand a full understanding. You can't get a full understanding of who Bryan is without understanding the drive behind the actions in this movie. Now, before, I did mention that he was a retired CIA operative, and that's not just because he'd been working for so many years and he was tired of it. He loved his job so much, but he retired solely just to be closer to his daughter. In the beginning of the movie, you can really see the love that he has for her when he shows up to her birthday party and brings her a karaoke machine, because he knew that for the longest she's wanted to be a singer. And when he asked a professional pop star for advice to give his daughter to help further her career, and it's so sweet when you see him pasting pictures in the scrapbook that he keeps of his daughter from throughout her whole life. So now that you have an understanding of just how much that he loves his daughter, let me show you this clip that shows you how determined he is to bring his daughter back home. So if you can just direct your attention to the screen. Turn the volume up.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
So as you can see, he's a really cuddly person towards his daughter, but once enemies get close and threaten her, he's determined to keep her safe. So in closing, I just want to thank the organizational committee for the Action Movie Convention this year for picking me to introduce one of my favorite characters of all time. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Bryan Mills.